Hello, it's Tristan here from ZebraInvest, and today I'm going to be running through negative equity properties. Why on earth would you want to find a negative equity property? Well, great question. Negative equity properties are usually where you've got someone who owns a property, but they're trying to now sell that property for less than what they pay for it. So the chances are when it comes around to actually selling that property, they're going to lose money. And people don't want to lose money. So what can happen in this case is you can do something called a lease option. And if you're here looking at lease options for the first time, there's some great people out there on YouTube who've done fantastic content to run through them. But the long and short is that you're going to go in there, and you're going to agree to buy a property down the line in, say, 5 years or so, or whatever period you agree with the seller. But in the interim, you're going to kind of babysit the property and babysit the mortgage. So say, for example, you've got a property that is worth £90,000, but they paid £100,000 for it. If they sold that property, they're going to lose £10,000. So if you look after the property for say 5 years, chances are property prices might increase or would increase, and that would cover that difference. So when you come to actually buying the property, you would have had an increase in the equity, an increase in the value, and you can then buy it down the line. But in the interim, you've been in there with the kind of the lease side of it, actually looking after property as if it was one of your own, renting it out or using it as an Airbnb, maybe an HMO, or anything else that's going to cover more than what that mortgage payment would have been originally, subject to it actually ticking the box for a mortgage term. Anyway, that's negative equity. But what I want to do today is jump in and use PropertyFilter. And PropertyFilter is a piece of software that brings Rightmove, Zoopla on the market and all data sources into one place. And the whole idea is that you can literally go through every single different property and deal that's out there to try and whittle it down to find the one or two and filter it down to find the one or two properties that tick your box and are what you're looking for. So the idea is really you're kind of removing all the kind of the fuzz, the haze of all the other rubbish and stuff that doesn't really work for you, and just find the motivated sellers that want to work. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to head straight over to PropertyFilter. At the end of this, I've got a link. So if you do want to have a go at this and get a 14-day free trial, you can jump in and get in there and get going. So let's head over to the PropertyFilter website. There you go. So we've got, we're going to go straight into the website. I'm just going to click login. I've already got an account on the site. They've just got one fixed pricing each month, which I believe is £99. And when you get in here, the difference is you can see you've got like a pipeline. And the idea is straight off the bat, you can start finding opportunities and then kind of working them through and moving them through your pipeline. You have a leads generator, and the idea of a leads generator is you can set one up for each type of property. So the idea would be, say, if you're looking for negative equity properties, that this way you can only create just to find negative equity properties in your area. So I live slap bang in the centre of Norwich, so always kind of focus into the area where I'm based. But what I'm going to do today is show you how you can do, say, a different area. So I'm going to do NR30, which I believe, off the top of my head, is about Great Yarmouth. Hopefully I've got that right. I haven't done that right. There we go. We'll just click that here. Once it just loads up, it gives you all the different postcode areas that you can click in to hone in on. And then what we're going to do here is the idea is you can use this to set up a system that's going to search and find deals and opportunities for you. So I'm going to select in with 2 miles, and you click add postcodes in that area. So you can see that's brought up NR30, NR29, and NR31. Then if you want to kind of branch out and add a few more to the area that haven't come up in the automated search, if you click nearest DC district postcode, you can see here, look, I've got Beccles has come up, Lowestoft has come up, Loddon, and other areas around here. But I'm just going to add Lowestoft in there as well, and we'll add Beccles in there too. So what we can then do is there's some preset kind of filters that are going to go out there and help whittle down and just find the opportunities that you're looking for. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I've set up, we're talking about lease options and using negative equity. So this can be any property where it's on the market now for less than what it last sold for. So if we then click next, I'm just going to call it East Coast Negative Equity. And the idea is that way you know exactly kind of what type of deals are going to be coming up through that. So you can see it's quickly and easily just done that. And it's going to come up here with just one of the kind of lists and the searches that is automatically doing for you. So you click in here, you can either edit the filter, you can duplicate it so you can create more than one search of doing different things, or you can just click to check leads. Then here, the first thing that's going to come up is a selection of different properties. And the idea here is you're going to find any property that's now on the market for less money than what it sold for before. You also occasionally will get properties that might not be of interest, and these two on the side for me just aren't of interest. But if you click on them, you can click never show again. So the idea is you can just hide the stuff that you just don't want to see. So for example, here we've got this little property on 2nd Avenue. I'm just going to click and open that one up. And then you can see, look, we've got this property here. It looks all right. It looks a little bit tired to me. But you might be able to see whether there's an opportunity there for it. So here you can see, look, last sold price here was just last year for £265,000. That's now on the market for £250,000. So you can see that they're trying to sell that property for less than what they paid for it, which has got to be uncomfortable for anyone. But look, you can see it was on for 270. You can see how long it's been on for. That's on for almost a month and a half, and then they reduced the price. And then here, the interesting thing, when it goes red or yellow, is usually when the property might have been taken off the market to then re-advertise it, or it might be that a sale was agreed. But you can see here that was on there, and then suddenly they reduced the price to 250. And so that means really you're looking at a property where they've already reduced the property, it's back on the market for sale, and we can see it's negative equity. So the chances are this person is going to be pretty keen to get the place sold and possibly to do a deal. So when you've got the letter here, you might be able to reach out to them, put a letter in the post to them and say, hey, would you be interested in selling your property? I see it's on the market for sale. I see you've had a price reduction. I can look after it. And being in this area near the coast, maybe you could, whether you just rent it out for one, or you might be able to, say, use it as an Airbnb or some other side of it. But anyway, that's one idea on there. So that's a nice little property. And then if you do decide that you want to see this property again, you can save it to your pipeline. So then you then go off to do your due diligence or whatever else. Or you can do wait till next change. So if they then drop the price again, you know this person really does need some help getting that property sold. So if I go back to the property list, we've got another one here just on Lime Avenue. You can see it's got a couple floor plans of the property, a few different photos. And if you do want to also just jump in and see these properties on Rightmove or Zupra or whatever else, click the button here. This helps you just kind of research that property and see what's going on in the area. And we can see here it's giving us 5 properties. And you can see this is, I think, just having a look, this Pull Harbour one is the one that we're actually looking at here. And actually, interestingly enough, this property seems to be listed actually with 2 different agents, 2 different prices. So you can tell they really are just trying to get rid of the property, and at £190,000, they are, you can see just from the data that and all the information that's brought together, they are now selling for about £10,000 to £15,000 after what they last paid in 2015. So again, this could be a great little opportunity to follow up and put in your deal in your lead base. But as you go through, you've got various other selections to go through. So what it's got, which is quite neat, is you've got this section here where it's got sold subject to contract for longer than 70 days. And the reason it does this is if you've got a property that's still being on the market marked as sold, but it hasn't gone through, with 2/3 of sales, with 1/3 of sales falling through each year on the market, this is a great way to be able to look through, and you might just be able to send a letter at the perfect time to someone at 34 Admiral Close saying, look, your sale's just taking a little bit too long to get through. Is there anything we can do on the property? Is there any other deal that we can do? I've seen here, your property has been kicking around for a long time. You're in negative equity. Can I help look after that property? Here, £150,000, and now at 104. There's got to be something going on. And occasionally you might find there's going to be properties, and I've just noticed on this one, that can potentially have a couple of issues with them or not be or being flagged by accident. If you do ever find a property that's not right, because this says that a 40% share, then we just send a little bug report just saying, we can turn and say, listing not, we can just do other shared ownership. And this way, the guys at PropertyFilter can jump in and help fix the system in future. So you can see, and you can just go through, target other properties and opportunities that you want, and then send letters again, as I said, in the post to them. So as you can see, that's a really simple way of being able to find deals and opportunities. But one of the bits that you've got is, once you're in the dashboard for this, if you've got any properties that you've liked or found or anything else like that, you can then go to your pipeline. And here you can find any other opportunity you've had before. You can do a due diligence, organize your viewing, and hopefully progress it all the way through so you've got a deal and everything else going through. Anyway, I hope you think PropertyFilter is just as useful as I do, and it's a great way of being able to literally filter through and just narrow it down to that selection of properties that are going to be where you've got motivated sellers who really want to get those properties sold and get going. If you'd like to jump on and get a free trial, I've got a link just in the video below, in the description below, and you can jump in there and get a 14-day free trial. If you've got any comments or any questions, drop them in the below, and hopefully you like this video. Cheers.